Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I'm so excited to be part of the Pinkfresh Studio InkPad release blog hop. They are coming out with these beautiful colors of ink pads. These are just some of them. They are so gorgeous, all the rainbow colors. And I'm going to make a layout today using those. I'm also going to use the Pretty Paisley stamp set from Pinkfresh Studio. I was really drawn to this giant paisley. So I'm going to create a background and some design elements using all these colors and that big paisley stamp. So if you're familiar with the liquid watercolors from Pinkfresh Studio, there are 12 colors, basically all the colors of the rainbow. And so what Pinkfresh Studio has done is created 4 color shades to match each of those liquid watercolors. So the pink watercolor now has 4 different shades of ink pads to coordinate with it. So what I thought I would do is use each of the pinks and create sort of an ombre effect on this one stamp. So I'm just going to stamp each of these 4 pinks onto the paisley and then just stamp it down, and the effect is really cool. It goes from dark to light and you get to see a little bit of each of those colors. And so I'm going to do that with each of these 6 color sets that I have pulled out. There are actually 6 more sets, and you can get these in the small blocks like this. They're also going to be available in full-size ink pads. So yeah, I'm just going to get to work here and do this with pink, orange, yellow, and all of these colors have individual names. These are all going to be available in the Pinkfresh Studio store Monday, October 14th. That's today. So make sure you check this out if you are a stamper, if you love inks. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to use these, but I think they're really pretty. You get all the colors and they go on this stamp really nicely. And I know my stamping block is very dirty. I always get comments on my dirty ink pad, or not ink pad, but my stamping blocks. I've used this little stamping block probably over 10 years, and I also use it for mixed media things, and so it's stained and worn, but I assure you it still stamps very clean, and yeah, it's gonna work great. So off camera, I did all the colors, and then I used the matching die for this paisley shape, and I just went ahead and cut all of these out. So I have basically a nice rainbow color scheme there, and I'm gonna just kind of play around with it and come up with a design kind of interlocking all of these paisley shapes, and then just go from there. I am going to do lots of mixed media on my background, so I pulled out a sheet of thick white cardstock, and I'm going to coat a lot of it with clear gesso because I am going to be adding water to this paper, and I want to be able to kind of let the colors blend and spread around the page instead of just soaking right through the cardstock. So that's what the gesso is going to do. It's going to strengthen the paper and provide a barrier between all the water and the paper. And you'll see kind of how that works here once I get going on that part. All right, so off camera I played around, and I'm going to do something like this. And I've chosen these 2 cute pictures of my daughter. These are from 2012. Oh man, that was so long ago. She was so little, but she just looked cute one day after her bath, and so I'm going to scrap those pictures. And so what I want to do is go around each of the paisley shapes here with the ink pad colors and sort of create like a messy shadow effect of each color. So I'm going to lightly trace around each paisley with a pencil so I'll know exactly where the color needs to go. And it's not really going to matter about the pencil lines because I traced underneath a little bit, so they're going to be covered up anyway. So I just pulled out a little bit of random plastic from my stash. I always save the plastic from all of my packaging here, and I'm going to just stamp all 4 of the colors right onto it, and then I'm going to treat this like watercolor. This worked out so well. So if you don't even have the watercolors, you can totally use these ink pads as watercolor like I'm doing here. So this is just another option on how you can use these. So all I did there was just add a little bit of water to my brush, and then you just apply the color like it's watercolor. It worked out so easily and so nicely, and it was fun to blend all of those colors together. So you get a little bit of dark, you get a little bit of light, And that's the beauty of having all 4 shades of that one color. So I'm going to do the same thing with each of these. I'm going to do the oranges, and you can kind of see the difference there in the shades of each color. The last one is always the lightest color, and yeah, you just get some really fun shades here. So I'm just going to go around each paisley and, oops, I made a mistake. Gesso, I was able to dab that up. That's what the gesso allows you to do. If you make a mistake, you can quickly dab it up because it's not going to soak through the paper. So yeah, I just wanted this to look kind of messy and watercolor-ish around the outside of each paisley there. And so I'm just going to keep going with all the colors. I'm going to let it dry a little bit and then go back over it some just to get the exact colors that I wanted to get. So this is working out really, really well. I was very pleased to see how nicely the ink pads worked like watercolor because, you know, if you follow my channel, you know I do mixed media on practically everything. And so I wanted to give these a test to see if they would work really, really well like this. And they surpassed my expectations. So yeah, I think this is another fun way to use these, in addition to using them for stamps, obviously. But yeah, you can also use them for, you know, your watercolor projects because you get all the different shades of the colors and they blend together really nicely, and they just are nice and bold and they work well together. So I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to do the green, the blue, and the purple. And now it's all done through the magic of editing. But look how pretty this is. I love these colors. Oh, I love it. I think it looks cool without the paisleys, but I'm going to put them back and see how this looks. And this is exactly the look that I was going for. I think that looks really fun. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going here. Now, I didn't want to color in the paisleys. I wanted to leave them pretty much white, but I thought that I would add a little bit of shading in the little corner of each one, or the little point of each one, just by using the watercolors. Again, now there's no gesso or anything on the paisleys, so I'm going to very lightly just smudge a little bit of each color into the center, or not the center, the corner, and just kind of give it a little hazy look of each color there, and then leave the rest of it white because I do want the dots and the shape of the stamp to show, and I also want the white to show because that's going to stand out from the color that's underneath it. And I chose black and white photos because I knew that I wanted to use, you know, a rainbow variety of colors, and most of the time I feel like black and white is the best way to go because they're going to stand out against all the colors, and vice versa. All the colors are going to stand out against the black and white. So you don't have to worry about matching the colors to the papers and things like that. And so that just takes kind of the guesswork out of your color scheme if you go with black and white, if that makes sense. So I've got all the little points there colored, and I think that looks really cool. And then I decided, since these are basically my background elements, I'm going to pop them up off the page to create even more dimension. So I just pulled out some of my favorite adhesive foam to use. This is just kids craft foam. It's sticky on one side. You can cut it. It's pretty thin. And then I've got all of them done, and I'm going to go ahead and glue those down because I know exactly where they're going to go, and I need them to stay put so I can continue working on everything else. So before someone asks me, I always get asked every time I forget to say it, I'm using the Scotch Tacky Glue in my very dirty and very well used glue bottle. But it still works like a charm, so I'm going to keep using it. All right, so I'm going to put my 2 photos kind of right there where you see them. They could pretty much go anywhere, and I really didn't want to cover up any of the background, but I had to put the pictures somewhere. So they're going to go up top there, and then I'm going to come in with my thread. I pulled out all 6 colors of thread, and then I'm going to try to do tone on tone. And if you're not familiar with what tone on tone is, that is basically keeping everything pink in the pink section. So any embellishments I add that are pink, I'm going to keep in the pink paisley section. and then orange on orange. And so that's what I think I'm going to do. Now, I pulled out some older Pink Fresh Studio collections from earlier in the year, the Everyday Musings collection and the Joyful Day collection. And I just went through what I had left of those puffy stickers, die cuts, regular stickers, and just kind of picked out things that matched each of these color sections. So for the puffy stickers, I'm going to cut them out before I peel them off the plastic in case I don't use them. And I just kind of wanted to see what they look like in each section. And I don't wind up using everything that I'm cutting up here, but things that matched or phrase stickers that said something that I could work with, I just kind of started to pick them out and lay them in that section to see if I could make it work. Now, and I don't want to completely cover up all the paisley sections because I want them to be visible, you know. I want it to be obvious that they're paisleys, and but I do want to embellish each one with some coordinating bits and pieces. And I remember the Joyful Day collection having lots of different rainbow color type things in it, so it was a great collection to revisit. I did struggle for a little bit of what I wanted to do with my title because I couldn't decide which of the 6 colors I should do for a title. Should I do a big title? Should I do a small title with, you know, little puffy alpha stickers? Should I use a die cut? I wasn't sure. So I just kept working on the embellishments. This is the Everyday Musings die cuts. Then I stumbled upon that little one-of-a-kind piece, and I think that's going to be the winner here. Even though it's gold, I'm going to use it. I think it's the perfect size, and I want to tone down the shiny brassiness of that gold because it's just so bright, and I'm going to add a little bit of gesso on top of it. And I've done this in the past. It works great. What this does is it just is going to make the shiny factor of the gold a little less shiny. Still shiny, but it's just a little more of on the matte side. It's not gonna blind you in the light, and so that's all that does. And I think that it works well right there in the middle of the layout, right below the pictures. So that's gonna be my title. And once I figured that out, I didn't have to, you know, agonize over what is my title gonna be, because sometimes that takes the longest. So all right, I'm going to start to place everything down. This is where I'm going to decide, yes, I'm going to use this piece. No, I'm not going to use this piece. Some things were just too big, too much. I'm using flowers. I'm using hearts. I'm using some different little phrase pieces. This little happy place piece here that's green, that is a fabric banner. And so, yeah, just lots of different things here. I'm using a couple of leaf stems on the green section. And I'm going to make sure that I add glue behind everything, even if it's a sticker, because sometimes when you use mixed media, things don't want to stick. And so I want to make sure that everything is stuck down for good. So yeah, this is tone on tone. I've got everything purple down there in the purple section, and I really like that effect. Sometimes I spread the color around, but when I can, I like to do the tone on tone. It just kind of helps limit what you can use in certain areas of your page, and it helps you use up your embellishments because, you know, you're looking for something in that specific color, and then once you use it, it's good to go. So yeah, some things have, like that is a chipboard piece, so it has a little bit more dimension than a flat sticker. But yeah, I got everything glued down there. I love how this is looking, and I'm going to add in some more thread. I'm going to add in thread of each color in a couple different spots, and it's just going to add a little bit more texture and color and just give it a little more of that messy look. And one thing that I thought was cool is on the picture that's on the left, that yellow circle sticker, I thought that it was perfect to overlap on the photo because it goes right in the shape of her head and her shoulder kind of curving. It fit like it just nestled in there perfectly, as Jen Scow would say. And so I love when that happens. So that's where that sticker is going to go. All right, so I got some blue thread, I got some purple thread. Got everything glued down, tone on tone. I got a bow in there. I got some flowers, some cute little phrase stickers, just all kinds of little random doodads that I thought would work well. And then I'm going to do just a tiny bit of journaling inside the pink, no, that's the purple paisley. And I'm going to use my black felt tip Sharpie there. These are just some cute pictures of Paige. She was just looking cute one day in a good mood after her bath, and so just did a couple little things about that. All right, so here's where I decide to add in some splatters. So I went ahead and dabbed each of the ink pads again on some plastic and then spritzed it with water. And look how gorgeous the colors look. Oh, I love it. As I spritzed it with water and the color just sort of came alive, I literally was going, ooh, look at this. It's so pretty. So yeah, all I did was activate it with water using my brush, and I'm going to splatter each color in its appropriate section there. And they just blend so well together. The pink and the orange blend so nicely, and then into the yellow, into the green. You could really create some brand new colors by all this blending. It's so nice. So the layout itself is pretty much done, and after I finished the layout, I looked at this plastic with all this color on it, and I thought, I have to do something with this. It's too pretty to just wipe up with a paper towel. So yeah, I'm going to do something with it. Look at how pretty this is. I just grabbed another sheet of cardstock, and this is going to be a little lesson here about gesso. No gesso on this cardstock. I want you to watch what happens when I flip it over and press it down. Do you see how it's instantly, some of it's soaking through the paper? Gesso is what prevents that from happening. But I just wanted to not waste this paint. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is just regular textured cardstock, and it immediately soaked right through the paper, because I'm going to try to smudge it with my finger. See, it soaked through. It's not smudging. Do you see the difference there? If it had gesso on it, I would be able to smudge it. So that's the difference. Anyway, here is a look at all of the colors that are going to be available. I only used some of them, but you can see you've got every variety of the rainbow here. It's so pretty, and you'll be able to check all of these out over on the Pinkfresh Studios store. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really love how this turned out. It was so much fun to make. And there's the final layout. Make sure you check out the Pinkfresh Studio blog, because there are a ton of designers in the blog hop today. You're going to see so much inspiration and different ideas on how to use these colors, and see a variety of the colors used. I just used some of them, but there are a ton. And so I hope you'll join in on the blog hop. I'm going to leave the link to the Pinkfresh Studio blog post down below, as well as my blog, and then you'll be able to follow along and see all the other designers' projects. But let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this gives you some inspiration to try out these ink pads, because they are awesome. So thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video.